Hello again, welcome back to Literacy with Mr. F, and today in our lesson we're going to be seeing if we can plan some ideas for writing. We're going to be thinking about instructions and what needs to go into a set of instructions so that tomorrow we can actually write some. So to be successful today we're going to see if we can understand the structure of a set of instructions, like we did in yesterday's lesson, how the instructions should be set out. We're going to develop ideas for our own instructions. We're going to see if we can use up-leveled vocabulary choices to express our ideas. And we're going to see how we can consider how our planning could be used to help us to write. So, we've already had a look at George's Marvellous Medicines, and in that book, he was creating a medicine which would hopefully make his grandma nicer. Now, if you could make your own marvellous medicine, what would you want it to do? It could do absolutely anything, because it's your imagination. I've got an idea. If I had a marvellous medicine, I'd want it to be able to make you fly. So imagine if you took 2 sips of this medicine and all of a sudden you had wings spurting out of your back and you could fly. How amazing would that be? Have a think to yourself, what would you want your marvellous medicine to do? Now when you've thought of your idea, we're going to be using that to see if we can plan our own set of instructions to make that marvellous medicine. So our task today is going to be to plan our ideas so that we can write a set of instructions together tomorrow. You're going to need to write your ideas on paper and make sure you keep them safe because you're going to need them for tomorrow's lesson. These are some of the things that you need to have in your plan. We need to have an ingredients list, what's actually going to go into your marvellous medicine. You need to think about what time connectives you're going to use, what imperative verbs you might use, what adverbs you might use to say how to do those things. And maybe we could think of some reasons why particular ingredients are needed. That's going to help us to maybe use some conjunctions to extend our ideas. And we need to think of some ideas for a conclusion and maybe a rhetorical question that we could use in tomorrow's lesson. So our first subheading is going to be the ingredients. The ingredients are going to be the things that I'm going to use in my marvellous medicine to make me fly. And here's my ingredients. So now I need to think about, if I'm describing my ingredients, what they need to be like. So I've used Dove shower gel. It's got to be Dove, of course, because it wants to make me fly. That's the part that's going to make me fly with the wings. So Dove shower gel, that's going to be bubbly. Chocolate sprinkles, well, of course, they're going to be delicious. Orange juice needs to be sour, but sweet. And a splash of hot sauce, which has got to be extra spicy. So I've just said what ingredients I need to use, but also what the ingredients need to be like. Next up, I need to think about some of the time connectives that we're going to be using. So when we think about time connectives, to start my first instruction, I'm going to use first. I want us to come up with 5 different time connectives that we're going to use because we're going to have 5 instructions. So first is going to be my first one. I think I'm then going to use secondly. I'm going to use after that. I'm going to use then, and I'm going to use finally. Those are my 5 time connectives that I'm going to use. Have a think about what time connectives you'd like to use. Then after that, we're going to be coming up with some imperative verbs. Remember, the imperative verbs are the bossy verbs that tell you what to do. So if I have a think about what I'd need to do to each of those instructions, then I need to think about what imperative verbs I'm going to use. So now I've got my imperative verbs. I'm going to squeeze the shower gel, I'm going to scatter the chocolate sprinkles, I'm going to pour the orange juice, and I'm going to add the splash of hot sauce. Once we've got that, we then need to think about some adverbs. Adverbs describe how I'm going to do each of those things. Again, I've come up with 4 adverbs which describe how I'm going to do each of those things. I've come up with carefully, gently, cautiously, and quickly. Have a think about what adverbs you're going to use. Then we need to think about some reasons why I'm going to be adding these particular ingredients. So I've got my Dove shower gel. I know that it's got to be Dove because Dove is a bird, and that's what's going to give me the wings. So that's what I'm going to write here. I then need to think about some of the other reasons why I might use these ingredients here. So let me have a think. So I've used the Dove because it gives you wings. I've used the chocolate because it gives you energy. I've used the orange juice because it gives you vitamins, and I've used the hot sauce because that is the magic ingredient that's going to help me to fly. Finally, the last thing we need to do is think about our conclusion. So our conclusion is the very last bit. And in my conclusion, I want to use a rhetorical question. So my rhetorical question is going to be asking the reader something which is so obvious that you know what the answer is. So my rhetorical question could be something like, would you like to fly too? If so, follow these instructions and you'll be as high as a bird in no time. In fact, I'm going to add the word simple here. Simple instructions. Now, do you know what? Tomorrow, I could literally take that sentence and put it straight into my writing. If you have a think about your rhetorical question now and think about a reason why you've got that rhetorical question, you could plonk that straight into your writing tomorrow to make life even easier for yourself. So hopefully you found it quite simple to plan your instructions. Remember to keep hold of them because tomorrow we're going to need to use them in our instructional writing. So today we are planning our ideas for writing. What's your next step going to be? Do you understand the structure of instructions, the way that they should be set out? If not, maybe have a think about instructions that you've seen before. Maybe you've seen cookery books where there's instructions. Have a think about the way that they should be laid out. Have you been able to develop your own ideas for your own instructions? Have you up-leveled your vocabulary choices? If not, you could go back now to your plan and see if you could add some extra vocabulary. And are you able to think about how to use your planning ideas to help you with your writing? If not, don't worry, I can help you with that in tomorrow's lesson, but maybe that could be something you could work with in the future.